and I wanted to put something back into society. So I went into the social work field, and that's what I do now. I work for a band, which is becoming a man program, and I deal with teenage boys, poverty-stricken boys that might have problems and everything in their lifetime, not only being poverty-stricken, but might be discipline problems. And so we had groups held every week. Before the pandemic came down, we had groups every week. We'll meet up in the in our office and everything. So I feel good about the job, and I feel good about putting back some back into the society. And me and Mario talk about that a lot. And he's proud of me for putting back into society, and he wants to do the same thing. He wants to put back into society, and what we missed out on. We don't want these other kids to grow up poverty-stricken like we were, grow up and end up in prison like we were. So we try to embed into really a good experience, because it's something that we experienced, nothing that somebody told us about. We both been there, so we are very good examples of what it would be like being poverty-stricken and being held in the trap to end up going to prison for a long time and being taken away from your family, which I call modernized slavery.
Absolutely. Michelle Alexander coined it best. She's an attorney and an author as well, with her book, The New Jim Crow. So you're absolutely right. So speaking of the release of my father, and it, we are advocating for his release. He was sentenced to life in prison. In the event that he gets out, let's say our efforts are successful and he is granted an executive clemency or compassionate release, or if something changes in the legislation. Of course, the First Step Act has come out, and by all means, it seems as though he could be eligible for release under the First Step Act. So a lot of things in the judicial system are changing. It seems as though legislators are attempting to rectify some of the harsh punishments that were enforced when you all were convicted.
Mm-hmm.
When he gets out, where would he go? What do you think he would do? As you mentioned, you do talk to him. You all are very close. You talk to him daily. His children, we talk to him as well often, but I know that brother to brother relationship, especially considering that both of you have served time together at some point, that's a very close bond. So where do you see my dad when he gets out? What do you believe he would do?
Well, first of all, let me just say I'm my brother's keeper. So he listened to pretty much everything my direction, what I advise him with doing. He'll take heed and he'll follow my example. What I think he'll do, for one thing, he's always welcome. He'll be having a place to stay. He can stay with me when he comes home. He can, I got a room already set up with his name written on it. So he always have a place to stay, and I have 2 vehicles, so you have a way to get around back and forth to work. Me and Mario putting our hands together, we will probably come up with a business. Like right now, I got my own business in the tax preparation business, which it'd be very easy for him to work there, because all you need is to get certified. And that's not taking the test, just taking, and don't care about your convictions or anything like that. And that means you'll just be preparing taxes. So that's a way of income for him.
Right.
Until he do whatever he want to do. But I'm sure Mario, knowing my brother, he's very ambitious and will drive for work and drive to open up his own business. But for temporarily, as soon as he came home, if he came home tomorrow, he have a place to stay and employment. Now, since taxes is what you call yearly, and it's not a whole, you don't do taxes for the whole year. What he'll do for between time, we'll probably find him a little part-time job to keep him busy. and until tax season is open. But believe me, we got a lot to do. We have a whole lot to do, and he will have a job and he have a place to stay.
Absolutely. I mean, I second that for sure. So a buddy once told me that personality is 80% genetic. I have not been able to find the scientific backing for that, but anecdotally, I can relate to that, because although I was not raised in the household with my father, I am very much his child. For one, I look identical to the man. If you shave my head
Yeah.
off, if you shave my hair off, I look just like the man. And
Okay.
then also, we both are entrepreneurs at our core. I mean, before I even knew what entrepreneurship meant, I was 5 years old in school selling little Mardi Gras beads. I would cut them up and make them into little puppies, and I would sell them to my friends for 25 cents. So, I mean, I have always been an entrepreneur through and through. So I get that from him for sure. And
Mm-hmm.
he has so much wisdom. He's imparted and continues to impart so much wisdom with, my siblings and I about business, and just like you said earlier, we talked about his mental fortitude. He is by far the strongest, the strongest person I know mentally ever. I have yet to meet another human being with the mental fortitude of my father. He is incredibly tough mentally. Like you
Yeah.
said, I like to think that I'm mentally tough, but as you mentioned, losing his mother, and I know you all were very close to my grandma. So losing her, losing his first son, his namesake, and not being able to bear it, losing his only sister, losing countless cousins, friends, brothers. I mean, to endure all of that and still maintain sanity is truly exceptional to me. I don't even know how he does it, but I'm thankful that he does, and he's an inspiration to all of us.